Hey guys, it's your girl Melanie, and I'm about to react to Kevin Samuels being on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Now, I hope I don't get copyright hit with this. I know there's been a lot of beef, not a lot of beef back and forth, but there's been a lot of drama. Listen, I'm not in no drama, okay? I am just gonna react because I've had several people ask me to react to one female in particular that came on their podcast named Amanda. Let's get into it.
What's up, Authentic fam? Welcome back to Authentic Alphas with your boy Ayinde. So that was the beautiful Melanie King, another content creator that I guess is relatively new to the space, and a few people have been asking me what my opinion is on this lady, and usually by the time the third or fourth person asks me the same question, I figured it's time to go ahead and just answer it, you know, for everyone. So I'm not sure how long her channel's been around. Of course, I probably could have checked, but I do remember seeing her stuff like relatively early on, because she had not so many subscribers or videos at the time, and it was just like, you know, another person reacting to Kevin Samuels. And you know, it's a very good-looking woman. As time progressed, I came across more and more of her content, and you know, I don't necessarily watch her videos from beginning to end, but I have seen a few of them, or seen a good portion of a few of them.
I'll let her explain who she is and what her channel is all about.
Hey guys, so it's Melanie King. You can find me at Melanie King Official. And I'm a woman entering the manosphere, just trying to spread truth and light to a lot of the delusion that's out here that I'm seeing in modern dating, and specifically with modern women. That's really toxic and harmful, honestly.
I didn't come to any conclusions, as I usually don't really come to conclusions the first few times that I'm exposed to something. You know, I kind of just let it ride for a little bit before I actually come to any type of formal opinion about anything. That's usually how I do things. So one of the people that asked me about her phrased the question like, do you think that Melanie is a chameleon? Which is a word that's thrown around in the space a lot. And the thing about the vocabulary in the manosphere is, in my opinion, it's a double-edged sword, because it's important for us to have a vernacular or some type of terminologies so that we can have our own little club, basically, and we can understand each other. The problem is that just like standard language, things are always used out of context, man. You know, it really irritates me when people use words like inappropriately, like it doesn't even belong here. It's like, this guy's doing something for his girlfriend. Oh, what a simp. And it's like, okay, first of all, you have to know a certain level about a guy and his situation pertaining to any given female before you could just throw out simp. You know, if I had to put an estimate on it, I'd say 73% of the time that the word simp is being used, it's used incorrectly. If it's a dude's girlfriend and she's behaving well in the relationship and they have their own little exchange going on that works for both of them, he's not a simp. You know what I mean? If you're doing something for a woman, you're getting something in exchange, you're not a simp. If you're getting what you want out of her, it's like, you're not a simp. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's just an example. So, and I say that because I feel like chameleon is another word that's constantly being used incorrectly in the manosphere. There's a lot of guys that are using it properly. They're referring to certain women that are very much chameleons. There's one chick, and her name does not even come to mind right now, and I've kind of been wanting to do a video on her, and I just keep on getting caught up with other things I think are more important. But you guys will know this female. She has like dark hair, like piercings, and she has like a ton of tattoos, even like a neck tattoo. And she's always talking about male issues. That chick is like the epitome of a chameleon to me.
Dahlia DiPolito is not chameleon content because it provides new and useful information that actually helps men. That's not what Chloe is doing. Chloe is just parroting information that men have already said and attracting simps purely because it's a woman saying it. In their minds, they think, see guys, she really gets us. Chloe cares about men and has sympathy for our issues. But does she really? No, she doesn't.
Like, everything about her is trash. Like, everything. Her appearance is trash. Her personality is trash. Her talking points trash. Her voice trash. And she is obviously like just repackaging stuff that's in the manosphere and just throwing it back at you guys for money, you know, for donations, for you know, super chats, whatever she got going on. But the point is, she's like a glaring chameleon, but she has a huge following. And, you know, guys are gravitating towards her for whatever reason. You know, unfortunately, the way men are wired, we always prefer to hear things from women. You know what I mean? You know, real estate, there's women in real estate and they're killing it, not because they know what the hell they're doing in real estate, but just because guys would rather buy properties from beautiful women. It's just how it is, man. They're going to always use women to advertise things to us and to give us certain messages. So even in the manosphere, there's so many guys that would rather gravitate towards a female talking about something that has to do with us or has to do with men and male issues. It's unbelievable, but it's biology. So anyway, I'm kind of going further than I need to go to make my point about Melanie. So it would depend on how you want to define chameleon, whether or not I think she's a chameleon. I think that she has a lot of valid talking points. Not that any of them are really overly original. I do think it's valuable to have a female's perspective. You know, remember, I'm the guy that wanted to bring groups of women into the manosphere to have conversations, but policed heavily by whoever the guy is that controls the platform. I believe that women should be in our space, but as our guests. They should not be in here on their own accord. They should not be in here doing their own thing. They shouldn't be here as the captain of their own ship. That part, I'm not really too interested in. Now, Melanie is going to do her thing. I mean, YouTube is free and available to anybody. So if she wants to come up with a channel that's geared towards men and male issues, you know, nobody can stop her. You know, we cannot like it, or certain people cannot like it, but she has every right to do so. Now, she's gaining a lot of traction, and you know, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not hating on Melanie. I damn sure I'm not going to be distracted by her being a beautiful light-skinned woman. I think a lot of guys are, unfortunately. And like I said, I agree with a lot of what she says, but it's not because like that's her being original, just because it's her agreeing with a lot of what Kevin Samuels has already been saying in the space and certain other people, which again is fine. In my opinion, if I had to give her some criticism, the harshest criticism I would give Melanie is number one, I think she needs to focus on making her own original content more than reacting to Kevin Samuels' material. And the next thing is, I would prefer that she would be addressing women and not so much guys. Now, of course, where the money comes from is the guys. The guys are who are going to send the super chat and the donations and so on and so forth. And of course, it's going to be a larger audience if she's appealing to men, because she's talking from, you know, from our defense or whatever, or her content is more defending men's perspective or arguments, I should say. I don't want to even say perspective, because she's damn sure isn't talking from a male perspective. She's talking from a female perspective that happens to agree with the male argument right now as far as what's going on with relationships. So yeah, those two things would be the harshest criticism I give, even though it's just my opinion. It doesn't mean anything. She's going to do what works best for her, obviously. But I would rather see her just make her own stuff, which I think she's more than capable of, and also like keep your message to the ladies. The ladies are who need to hear Melanie King. I don't think that she's saying anything that men aren't already saying, and that's why I don't think that men need to be necessarily listening to her. We don't need her to give us the same message we're already getting from Kevin Samuels. What we need is women that are going to bridge the gap between what Kevin Samuels is saying or any other content creator that's at least going to be polished with his talking points and his ideology. We need someone that's going to be the bridge between that voice and the ears of women. Okay, so people like Chantel Simone. I like Chantel a lot. Long before I ever spoke to her, I liked her a lot because she is coming from her heart. She's coming from her perspective, how she feels about women being lied to as far as what's going to work for them and what's going to increase their value, and feeling like, wait a minute, this has all been wrong. It's not getting me what I want, and I'm not satisfied, I'm not happy, okay, that's all from a woman's perspective. That's all the woman's feelings, how women feel about the effects of feminism, how women feel about the lies coming from the mainstream media, how women feel about simps, you know, just capitulating to them, how women feel about other women just patting them on the back and saying, you're right, sis, it's all about you, sis, forget him, you could do better. You know, men are the problem, right? So that's why I appreciate, say, as Chantel Simone, because she's not like echoing some male content creators' talking points. She has her own understanding of why there's a problem and what needs to be changed, and it just happens to align with what we've been saying, which is great because it's the truth. So she's aligning with reality, but yet from her eyes and her perspective. And I would like to see more of a feel of that from Melanie, rather than just kind of the agreeing with the Kevin Samuels in the space, just agreeing with men, because I think that's what comes off as a little bit disingenuous to certain guys. Now, what I will say is that I think her message is useful in the sense that I agree with a lot of what Melanie is saying, and regardless of whether or not her intention is making money off of guys or whatever, still, if she's gonna also be bringing some truth to the situation, I think is good, right? But anyway, it's the women that need to hear it from women, not the guys that need to hear it from women. We don't need women telling us what, you know, that we're right. We know we're right. So guys need to kind of stay clear of that need for female validation, especially attractive female validation. You don't need it as much as you think, guys. Now, so anyhow, this video that we're going to react to in particular, I chose this video because this video has a lot of sentimental value to me. It's an episode on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I know you guys favorite liars, and this particular episode had 3 girls on there that I booked. And the one that everybody is...
what I have been getting annoyed with is there is no sense of fairness, and that's what exactly...
There is no fairness in dating, ma'am. That's what you don't seem to get. There's no fairness in this. All's fair in love and war. This is not fair. Yeah. It's survival.
I'm glad I know now. I just got a lot of empowerment.
Now that I heard everybody's opinion here, it's like I don't even want to date. Like
Oh, I do.
I'm gonna be even more exactly.
But understand something, and you can do that. But here's the thing. And that's fine. And that's fine. But here's...
Why do they think they're like hurting us? They're hurting feelings. I don't even want to date. Like, are we going to chase it? Come on, please come back to the dating market. We need you. Like, it's like they say these things. I don't want to do. It's not fair. Okay, bye. We don't care. Good. That leaves the rest of us who want to do the work and become the best versions of ourselves. That gives us more options. Like, they really say this, like, somebody's going to pull me back in because we really want you here. Don't nobody want you in here. Bye. Peace out. A-Town.
Interested in hearing commentary on is Amanda. And the reason why this episode means so much to me, and it will always be like dear to my heart, no matter how funny that sounds, is because for me it is like an official, you know, pat on the back, because I accomplished exactly what I intended to do by putting these women together to interact with Donovan Sharp as well as Kevin Samuels. We already knew that this wasn't going to be about Myron and Fresh, because whenever Kevin comes on, Myron and Fresh are quiet as church mouses. Like, that's what it is, and that was understood. You know, they knew to just let Kevin do his thing. They want the viral moment. My job was to put a female there that was going to get the viral moment, and I was creative with it, and I thought to myself the same thing I think anytime I'm asked to provide the females for any particular guy. I thought, what would benefit Kevin Samuels the most? The way Fresh and Fit put the girls on the show now, since I've been gone, there is no strategy to it. There is no design. It's just default. It's who can we get? Ask somebody, do you know a girl that can come? What about this girl? Chris, try to get some girls. Let me see if I can get a girl. Get us some girls. There's no science behind it. There's no art. You know what I mean? It's just, let's get a female to sit in this seat. But I like to be very, very strategic about it. And I said, what does Kevin what could Kevin use? What would be useful to Kevin Samuels at this time? And at that time, he was getting a lot of criticism for so-called tearing down black women. That was the accusation, is that Kevin Samuels just tears down black women.
Manosphere has been relevant. Y'all never even heard of this shit before. Kevin Samuels is new. 2 years he just started doing this shit. Y'all in an uproar because y'all never been in a position
Remember,
to
getting
hear
shit
a
from
black
Jimmy
man,
Jones, Ricky Lake,
specifically
everybody.
a black man. Yeah, exactly. But when he was saying, listen,
at first he was just being nice.
no,
being decent.
I'm gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. At first, he was critiquing men, and nobody cared. Women was like, yeah, get him, get him. As soon as he switched over, then oh no, you hate your mother. He's gay, like you would say, right?
Exactly.
I don't. Right? I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna be able to say it, but I feel like the way he tear down black women, there's no way he ever could like a black woman.
But y'all tear down black men, and y'all don't care.
Every day.
And so I said, all right, I'm not putting no black women on the panel. We don't need to see Kevin Samuels interact with another black woman. That's what we see on his show all the time. So I said, okay, I want to get non-black females on here, but I want a woman that's going to provoke Kevin to basically give all the same analysis that he normally would give. If I put a white woman or a Latin woman or whatever here that's going to be respectful, that's going to be realistic, that's going to have some type of grounded perspective in reality, it's not going to work, because Kevin's not going to be able to get that conflict. And then the next thing you know, people are going to say, you see, he's pandering to white women. You see, Kevin just hates black women. So I said, this chick has to be as complicated, as difficult, as belligerent, as aggressive, combative as what I can find. And I thought Amanda, because I was trying to already get Amanda on, and Myron wouldn't have it. Myron was like, I don't want that feminist bitch on the show.
Women around the world consistently say they want a man that's earning in the high 5, low 6 figures. They want to have 2 to 3 kids and be married. Most women want the top 10% of men. You can go watch my channel and see this bared out. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, and other, across the board. All these women are given an option. Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant? The answer comes back overwhelmingly no, meaning they want to be traditional stay-at-home housewives. They weren't raised that way. They weren't cultured that way. They're not even equipped to be that way. But yet, and if you ask them, could you date an average guy earning $50,000? Even women coming straight out of college turn their nose up.
I'm just keeping it real. Myron did not want Amanda on there, which gets interesting later, because a lot happened with Myron and Amanda, which just makes him a hypocrite, because he was saying how much he hates this female, but he ended up fooling around with her, not because you know, this isn't gossip. This isn't the tea. This is just what happened. I'm putting the shit into perspective. And I'm always going to take an opportunity to point out the hypocrisy of Myron. So, yeah, it's like, fuck this feminist bitch. But the moment that her job, and she was threatening to get lawyers involved and everything because she wanted Myron to take down the content, what did Myron do? He did what a bitch would do. He started flirting with her, buttering her up. Next thing you know, they're holding hands. Yeah, I said it, okay? And I want everybody to go over there to ask Myron about it, because Allende don't lie. This mother, I couldn't get my fucking camera phone out fast enough is what happened, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm waiting on Myron to come to the damn studio, and he's coming from Walgreens with Amanda holding hands.
Their own age, that 80 years ago, they could have married and had a family early on. Now they're looking at these same women, and these same women would not even look at these guys unless they're making 6 figures. Men have accepted the unfairness in the marketplace. It's not fair for men. 18 to 30, men used to could get married. Now you can't even really consider getting married till you're 35 plus, because you have to have resources. That's the new marketplace. Men have accepted that and adjusted. The difference is the women are not bringing in, women in mass are bringing this. Ask them what you want, you get War and Peace. Ask you what you bring to the table, you can't write it on the back of a stamp. You get access to my body, which is not virgin, which is not even low miles, which you've given to somebody before. And in some cases, you've even shared your womb. You're not even really feminine like women used to be. You don't even have the domestic skills, the home skills. So is it I would submit today that modern women are asking for an unfair deal from modern men.
So we should go back to 1950 and make it more fair.
She sounds like a zombie. I was there around 1950 with it. No, chain smoking grandma. We don't want, you know what? Yeah, you go back to 1950s.
All lovey-dovey-dovey. Next thing you know, she's cleaning up in the apartment, spending the night, and I'm over here like, both of y'all are hypocrites like a mug, because I spent a lot of time communicating with Amanda through text message as well as talking on the phone, and she was telling me how she hates Myron's guts and she would never with a guy like Myron. Next thing you know, they're holding hands and they're hooking up. Both of them said they would never mess with someone like each other, but yet they mess with each other. And Amanda told me she don't fall for game. Ain't nobody gonna run no game on her. Ain't nobody gonna beat it and hit it without a relationship. Yet she was hooking up with Myron in less than a weekend, and he ran hella game because Myron didn't like her. He just didn't want to deal with the legal ramifications of what she was threatening with over the podcast. Anyway, I spilled enough tea on that one.
This deflection, this combativeness. They don't want to learn anything new. They're saying they have all these problems with dating, all these problems. Well, then listen, learn. Maybe you can adjust and grow and become a bit, but see, they don't want to accept me as I am. All the men need to change. All the men need to stop being this way. But us women, we're perfect out the womb. We're perfect. Just because we're born, we're perfect beings. And it's all these men.
So this episode played out exactly the way I intended. It created the viral moment that I wanted from it, and it also created a very, very good look at how these women operate and how it's based on no kind of logic. It's just brainwashing and conditioning from the feminist media. And Kevin Samuels did not disappoint on how he brought so much reality to that conversation and did it in a way that just took so much skill, man, and finesse. It's amazing. So that's why I really appreciate Kevin Samuels in our time. I think a lot of people appreciate him and like him, but I don't think all really see the magnificence of what he's doing when he handles these women in debate. I mean, I can honestly say I don't think anybody is better at it in our generation. I really don't. And if there is a person who is, I would love to see that person. Jordan Peterson is on that same level, but they're doing something completely different. I think Jordan Peterson is just handling the mainstream in general, all in what it encompasses right now in our present day society, whereas Kevin Samuels is handling the issues in the black community on that level, and he's handling the issues between men and women primarily in the black community on that level. But like I said before, my dream interview would be Kevin Samuels and Jordan Peterson. That would just be, I think, one of the most amazing conversations that we could have in this space.
Have accepted this, and they're deciding to, I am either not going to play this game because I cannot earn what these guys around you are earning, and they're just opting to walk away. And the men who are earning that have an overwhelming amount of options. They have a plethora of options. Men in the top 10%, top 5%, I'm 51 years old, and I can pick whatever I want. Because women all want the same kind of man. And if you have options just like you're not going to do what? Settle. Men didn't make the marketplace this way, ladies. You fought for it to be this way. This is freedom. Freedom comes with responsibility. Yeah. Now women fought for equality, so you get upset when you deal with 50-50 mindset men.
No, I mean, I'd rather be an independent, rich woman and be single than to be stuck with a man who doesn't give a shit about me.
And I would rather pay more than half of the bills.
Women, regardless of how terrible their attitude is, there are plenty of guys that are, trying to keep them in the dating pool. And Amanda is one of them. So, like I said, I'm very, very familiar with Amanda, which is why I said, you know what, let this be the video that I discuss Melanie on, and also let this be the video where I respond to some Kevin Samuels material, because I don't do it often. And let me finally respond to Amanda's performance on the show, which I haven't up until this point. But of course, like I said, this episode always has meant a lot to me because it was able to play out exactly the way that I manifested it and pictured it in my mind. Although I did think that Donovan Sharp was going to play a larger role, he really fell back all the way. He contributed nothing to it. Neither did Fresh, but Fresh never really does. And Myron only seems to keep it hush-hush when certain people are on, like an Andrew Tate or Kevin Samuels, as he also should.
But the thing is, but the funny thing is, you would think that, and especially in my community, strong, independent, such and so forth, the amount of women who are high earners, independent, and miserable is amazing. Halle Berry, once the most beautiful woman on the face of the planet, 3 times in a row, is complaining about child support. She's rich, she's beautiful, she's miserable. Ma'am, you ladies set up the rules. We are playing the game that modern women have set up.
So Kevin, and I don't know if you heard it, but again, one of the things that's bothered me is that, again, it's, oh, well, men can do this, but women can't.
Such as?
Again, the cheating thing. Well, if you're the 1% of men, then you get to do this. And it's because women show, you know, love differently.
And they are women who the 1% of men are not looking for, would not date. Why are they worried about what these men do? Why are they worried about, they're not worried about you. So it's like, they're angry that 1% man is not choosing them. So they want to chastise his behavior, shame him into correct behavior. You don't hear the women getting wifed up by the 1% man complaining. Why? Because they're getting wifed up. It is only bitter Bettys have something to say about it when you don't even qualify for that kind of man. Just in attitude alone, we're not even talking about all the other things that go into that. But just in the way they're talking, their mindset, why do you care what he's doing? He don't want you, sis. He don't want you. Like, you don't see them complain about average men. Right? Because they're overlooking them. They want the 1% man, and they are angry that he has not chosen them.
I first wanted to smash Amanda. You know what I mean? Confession time. You know what I'm saying? When I first saw her, like I remember very vividly how it played out. Like when I first saw her, I was with Fresh. He was walking Hero. We were just chopping it up about, you know, what we planned to do that evening as far as, you know, what the episode was going to be about, what the topic was, what girls we were going to have. And I saw Amanda. She had, you know, a tight gray, like sweat shirt, like a hoodie or whatever, but really tight. And she had these red, you know, the yoga pants or whatever on. And I was like, damn, who's this chick right here? You know, she had the short cut, you know, nice tight skinny neck. I could see her collarbone. She had a fat ass, wide hips. She was walking her dog, and I was like, yo, who's this? You know, I cold approach. I tell you guys all the time, if you see it, you like it, get it. So I was already about to take off, you know what I'm saying, like a sprinter. I was already down in the block, and Fresh was like, no. Put his hand on my shoulder. I'm like, what, nigga? He's like, nah, you don't want that. I'm like, you gonna tell me what I want. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm telling you, you don't want her. You don't want to deal with her, man. That chick is a straight feminist. And I was like, what that got to do with anything? I knocked down plenty of feminists. And Fresh was like, all right. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I'm going to see if she wants to come on the show. And Fresh was like, no. I was like, why not? He was like, yo, that girl wants to come on the show. I was like, whoa, she wants to come on the show. She got a nice face, a fat ass. What's the problem, Fesh? Fresh was like, Myron don't want her on the show. I'm telling you right now, they would clash. I was like, okay, and since when has that been a bad thing? Why do we not want another Frank Castle moment? I thought that's what you guys live for. And he is like, nah, man. He's like, that girl is not even gonna like get kicked out like that. It's just not gonna be good, is what he was basically saying. Like, in other words, that's a wild horse. You can't tame it. Now, you don't want to tell me something like that, because that's going to motivate me. So I went over there anyway and chopped it up with her. I got her phone number and all that. I didn't mention the podcast at first because, like I said, I was trying to smash. So that's how I got to know Amanda before bringing her on the show. And I attempted to bring her on twice before finally Myron was like, yeah, you know what? That would be good. Bring her on. That would be good, you know, to go up against Kevin Samuels. So I say all of that as to say, I understand why Amanda thinks like she's the ish and everybody wants her, because a lot of guys do want these women, man. And guys, unfortunately, they don't hold a standard, man. They don't say, I'm not gonna mess with a girl that talks like this. I'm not gonna mess with a girl that has an attitude like this. I'm not gonna mess with a girl that dresses like, dude, let's face it, let's be honest. Too many of us, we will take anything, we'll accept anything, and because of that, these women have these overly inflated egos. So I'm gonna have to go against Melanie on this one. I feel this is more the fault of men than it is of women like Amanda, because we're the ones that inflate their heads. We're the ones that blow their heads up.
Men across the board, low value to high, control access to relationship. That's what we control. So this is what I was saying earlier. Ladies across the board, you can have your standards, your point of view, but when it comes right down to it, the way you guys were talking is if you had leverage over the kind of men that was in the discussion. You don't. Those men have leverage over the women. You're not competing. You're competing with the women around him. Everything that you ladies are saying, I won't tolerate this, such and so forth. There are plenty of other women be like, shit, okay, fine. What else? Is that it? No problem.
Saying we're not 1% like they?
I'm saying that there are more women wanting them than there are men. There's 1%. That means 99% aren't. And almost 100% of women want the same 1% of men. The Petro principle. Oh, yeah. There are more women trying to, okay, you've all been into a club at some point in your life. There's a regular club and there's VIP. The guys who are in VIP are looked at differently than the guys who are standing on line, that most women don't seem to realize. And it's very simple. Women are born with inherent value. So they really can't understand the concept that we men have to deal with, that we have to make ourselves valuable. So when men hear that we have to make ourselves valuable, we accept the world as it is, and we don't sit back and say, well, it's not fair. We just deal with the world as it is. Here's the principle. Women can never objectively understand the male journey and struggle, so don't try to explain. In general, they see everything through rose-colored glasses, being born with inherent value. You earn all of your value as a man, and it's your greatest opportunity that you could hope for.
I don't disagree with Kevin Samuels often, but I try to be as true to myself as possible. So anytime that I think that there's a discrepancy, regardless of how much I admire or respect the person, I try to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, I at least acknowledge that there might be some disagreement. So when Kevin said that, like, across the board, women all over the world want the top 1% of men, yes and no. Like, I understand what he's trying to say. Like, of course, you know, all men gonna want the best female that they can get. Think about it. All men obviously desire the top 1% of women. The thing is, men aren't delusional to that extent. They know, like, I can never get her, you know, I might jerk off to her or whatever, but, you know, they get it. Like, I'm not gonna get her. Like, I'm not gonna actively entertain that I could have this woman, so I'm gonna, you know, not settle for anything in between because you know, I'm going for that top 1% of women. So yeah, obviously we all, men and women, desire the best options. The question is, at what point do we think that we can settle? So I'm gonna slightly disagree with Kevin when he said, like, all around the world. Coming from someone that is very well traveled, and I make it my business to dip my stick in something in every country, city, state that I go to. Like, I'm just being honest with you guys. So in my Royal Oaks, it's, you know, I enjoy that. So if I go somewhere different, trust me, I want to be inside one of the locals before I go. And in dabbling with women in different countries, their expectations are not as high as in Western countries, but I'm telling you right now. So he said that, they all want these guys making that kind of money. I have to disagree. I know there are many parts of the world, if not majority of the world, women will be more than happy to settle for a guy making $50K a year US. That's facts, guys. All right, that is facts. And they will appreciate that dude, and they will feel lucky. They will feel like they won the lotto. If you're the right guy in the right place, you will have your pick, so to speak. The thing is, you got to get yourself there. And I'm going to get more into that because I want to make every video, whether it's a response or reaction video, also a teachable moment. Like, that's what I'm here for, is to get you guys better results. There's too many guys in the manosphere just creating content just for the views. I get it, they're making money, God bless them. You know, I'm on my way to going in that direction as far as making a business out of it, but I don't think I'll ever lose sight of the priority, which is making every piece of content something that some guy out there, you know, between the age of 16 and in the coffin, can benefit from.
There is some man on the planet that you can actually make a deal with that you could accept. Now, the point is, can you find him before time runs out? But that's how it always comes down to. There are blanket generalizations that are broadly true for most people. But we're human beings. Everyone has a choice. Some guys cannot tolerate any cheating. Well, then if you need to get your itch scratched and you know what you got on the line, you got to weigh the risk reward. Because if you want to risk it,
aim lower, I guess, you know, lower your expectations. Because if you're dating, you know, above the 1%, then you might get somebody that's not going to fucking cheat, right?
Maybe. Well, hold on. And see, the notion of this whole aim lower, this is why when women say this, I don't think you realize that people, when I don't think a lot of times you ladies understand when you say aim lower, you're in that lower too.
I don't aim lower. I'm not going to aim lower. I'm just going to stop being such a nice person.
But the fact that here's some realities. Women control access to sex and determine whether or not a life is brought into the world.
Bro, that was so... Finish her. Like, that's what I thought of. But yeah, a lot of these women are complaining, and it's what I said. They're not in that caliber of getting chosen by these men. So why are they worried about what they're doing and they're cheating and all that? You don't hear the women in that percent who are up there complaining. It is women. Well, she's saying with a lower, and you know, I guess I have to lower. But you know what I'm saying? You are in that lower. But see, that's an insult today to say tell a woman she's average. He knocked her down into reality. You are in the women think, well, if I can't get the 1% man, then I'm lowering myself. No, we're always here. You just lived in delusion and fantasy thinking that the 1% man wanted you when it just wasn't true. You've always lived here, and now you're resetting and trying to come back here, but you're angry at the men there because they will never be the 1% man. And so then you see the conflict. You want what you can't have, and you think that coming to your level is settling, when the reality is a lot of men may feel they're settling for you. But see, that's hurting women's feelings. That's telling them they can't have everything you want. If reality hurts your feelings, we ain't got nothing to talk about.
So what I definitely will agree with him on is that no matter where women are from, generally speaking, the overwhelming majority do want to be like stay-at-home moms. And I think that's a good thing. That's phenomenal. And I think what we need is for men in general to want to be fathers, husbands, protectors, providers. The thing is, you have to pick the right place and woman to do it with, because the odds are so much against you. That doesn't mean you don't do it. That doesn't mean you give up on it. That just means that you have to work harder and longer to put yourself in a position to have a better chance at it working out for you. So you young guys have to tune out all of these distractions in the immediate, especially you guys that are like in college, you guys that are in school or college age. You gotta tune out all the distractions of partying, trying to hook up with girls your age, trying to get these women, all this stuff. Bro, it's all set against you right now. The odds are against you. There's no point in engaging in activities and environments where you're highly disadvantaged and you're going to lose. Now, the way you turn that into an advantage is you tune all of that out as much as possible, and you focus on building yourself up and putting yourself in a position to have an advantage, while the other guys are distracting themselves. The other guys are making just enough money to go to the club, but they're getting passed up because they can't compete with the guys that are dominating in the club. It just doesn't make any sense. Like you got nothing going on with your body. You just started going to the gym, but you're trying to pick up girls at the gym. Why? When there's other guys at the gym that have been working out longer than you, they've already got their gains. They're gonna dominate in that competition. So why even put yourself out there to lose? Right? Just stay focused. While that other guy that has his six-pack and has his muscles in his chest already is distracted and taking time away from the gym to go hang out with girls and hook up with girls that he can already get, you need to be working on you and catching up, bro. Play catch up. A lot of you dudes need to be playing catch up right now, catching up to the high valued guys, catching up to the older guys, catching up to the guys that are tall, catching up to the guys that have money already or whatever. That's what you should be focused on. All right? Putting yourself in a position where you can even get into the game and do well, instead of bitching and complaining at the sidelines. You shouldn't even be at the sidelines. Why are you even spectating and watching other guys living their life and doing their thing? You need to be in the gym. You need to be working. You need to be saving your money. You need to be learning skills. All right? And stop watching the guys who already are doing that and blaming the women for not picking you. It doesn't make any damn sense, bro. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't benefit you. And what Kevin was saying about these women not wanting to change their mindset, exactly. So stop worrying about girls that aren't going to change their mindset and work on putting yourself in a position to change your environment to an environment where the women already have the mindset that you're trying to change these women's mindset to. You guys are making this shit a lot harder than it has to be, man. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to be the one to make the move, make the change, and make the upgrade, because the women are not. They just aren't. And it's not worth the effort. It's too much energy and effort to get these women to change, when really you should put all that energy into changing you.
And in the double standard benefits you, you're okay with it. What effort are women putting in today? Women still want men to move in a traditional way, but yet you're not traditional women. Is there a crickets button?
I'm confused. I'm asking men to act in a traditional way.
Yes, you want men to be traditional. I mean, most women. Okay.
You can't even get women nowadays to bring their man a plate, rub his feet, just basic things, let alone all the work it takes in a marriage. As you guys know, I'm divorced, and like these attitudes and mindset are just very foreign to me. But in marriage, you know, things break down, not just because it's a woman's fault or a man's fault. Things happen. If you've never been married long term, trust me, you have no right to speak on it. But things happen outside of just that. Okay, divorce happens for a lot of reasons. That's all I'm going to say. But the attitude of so many women that I see now is they don't want to cater to a man in any. It's almost like it's a dirty word. They don't want to compete for a man. They want him to just pick her because she's so special. They engage in hookup culture, but yet get mad that hookup culture exists, but you participate in it. Or you have these attitudes and these entitlements, and it's just, It's why a lot of guys now, you know, a lot of guys I talk to, they're looking for more traditional women. They will go overseas because a lot of those women still have those values. They'll massage his feet. They'll, you know, make the different meals. They're happy to do it. And it's not just like, I'll do you a favor. It's a joy to serve their man. And I'm not saying, you know, a lot of women think that if you, by doing that and having that type of attitude, that's, oh, you can get walked all over. But look at these women with these strong backs, these kind of necks up, combative. Are they getting walked all over? I would say the women who are actually, you know, happy, they're not getting ran over like that. It's like the same women who say, well, women serving men, that's going to put them, they're going to get used and ran over. When these are the women saying it are the ones being used, but they're not doing that stuff. They're not even willing to try something new. Just the art of having conversation with men. They don't know. They just think they just show up. Me being alive, being a woman with a vagina is enough for a man to choose me. But they don't think they have to do anything to win a man over. But that's good news for me because I'm going to compete. And I'm glad that they've taken themselves out the competition. That's less work for me. And said life wasn't fair, but yet she demands fairness. This is what I mean. It's like, and then she's cursing. Her attitude, her tone, just her whole being is just so negative and nasty. It's just like, I don't know. It's like if a cigarette was a person, I think she would be it.
All right, so it's tough for guys nowadays, man, especially the young guys. I've said this many, many times. Many other people have pointed this out. You're not going to be able to get the girls your age, bro. It's going to be really difficult. And I know it sounds like I'm being contradictory right now, like I'm being hypocritical, because I've made a collection of videos called Authentic Good Girls Search, where I'm showing you good girls that are still have somewhat of a traditional mindset, or they're not, you know, completely smutted out with, you know, the social media and what we got going on with the thought culture, and they're dating guys relatively their age. But I'm also honest with you guys when I tell you that's the minority. And I only point that out and showcase that as to say, stop saying what doesn't exist. Oh, there aren't any girls like this, or all girls are like that, all this and all that. It's like, yo, stop with that shit. You guys are listening to the wrong, you know, influencers right now that just want to like doom and gloom. Just make a decision for yourself. If you want a good girl in America, then shut up and go find one, because they exist, is what I'm trying to say. Are they the small minority? Yes, I say that all the time. I always attach that to it, is that it's the minority, but yet it does exist. All right? But it doesn't exist in your mom's living room. It doesn't exist, you know, in your bedroom where you jerk off to porn. That's not where she exists at. Okay? She doesn't exist on social media showing herself off for the likes. That's not where she exists. So what I'm saying is, they do exist, but you're gonna have to go out and find them. So you either have that option, right, if you're not trying to leave the country, or you're not ready to leave the country. The other option you have is leveling up and getting the hell out of here and going somewhere where those women are easier to find. There's more of them, right? Because there's a lot of countries I've been to where it's actually reversed. The girls that have a ton of followers on social media are actually harder to find, and the girls that are a little bit more humble and down to earth but still really good looking women, really good looking girls, those are easier to find. And then it's the same thing with the food, you know what I mean? It's like you go to certain places, finding GMO food is actually harder than finding organic food. The organic food is everywhere, okay? Finding the McDonald's and the fast food and all that, that's harder in certain countries. So what I'm saying is, if you're a person that's concerned about GMOs, you're concerned about gluten-free, and you're concerned about all that, then go somewhere where that stuff is the hard to find stuff and the organic healthy stuff is the easy to find stuff. Come on, man. Stop complaining, guys.